Good morning, all of you. Welcome you all in this platform of StudyIQ OPSC channel. So today is 1st of July and we'll discuss 1st of July current affairs. Please share this session with your friends as well. We are about to start. Okay. So 1st July current affairs. I hope audio and video both are working fine. There is no issue with that. Okay, so let's start. Index of industrial production, the first one. Index of industrial production, the first topic. The second topic, anti-defection law. Anti-defection law. Third, Mullaperiyar Dam. Fourth, VIP culture, GST, financial stability report, and cooperative policy. Okay, cooperative policy. So these are few national, international news, and apart from that, we have Odisha related news as well. Okay, let's start. IIP growth at 9-month low of 1.2% in May. Let's see. Growth in industrial activity. Industrial activity means the index of industrial production. It measures the industrial activity in India. It measures industrial activity in India. Slumped to 9-month low of 1.2% in May. So we are starting with a negative news that the manufacturing sector performance, or what we call industrial activity, is 9-month low with the 1.2% growth in the May month, and with the mining, electricity, primary goods, consumer goods sector all contracting, and manufacturing growth slowing sharply as compared with the levels in May last year as per the index of industrial production. So in comparison to the May last year, that means May 2025, we are comparing with the May 2024, slowing sharply as compared to with their levels in May last year. So May last year 2024 रे जो performance थिला, it's simply declining this year in 2025. IIP जदि आपण जानिथिबे, we have already discussed multiple times. So Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, जोटा आपनकर National Statistic Office जोटा अछि, that publishes the IIP analysis. Industrial activity slowed due to weak manufacturing and contractions in mining and electricity. So mining and electricity, I mean, these are the two factors due to weak manufacturing and contractions in mining and electricity. So basically mining and electricity पाई ही overall हमको ये जो weak performance देखिबा को मिलुची. Reason कौन है पर? What could be that reason? एक रे heat waves जोटा चले थिला during the summer season due to average rise of temperature. Early monsoon could be a factor. Early monsoon or lower demand impacted output and electricity generation. Okay, so these are the few factors could be the reason behind this weak performance of the manufacturing sector, because electricity is also one such issue. Consumer demand appears muted as seen in the declining consumer goods output. Consumer demand muted means due to higher inflation, although from last few months we have seen a little bit of stability or controlling the inflation range, but before that, due to the high inflation, consumer demand at a lower side, plus the middle class income has been stagnant. जदि आपण देखिबे middle class रे income टा almost stagnant ही की अछि, तेनु सी भी गोटे factor ही पारे. Despite weak demand, capital goods growth signals ongoing infrastructure investment. So despite this performance, if you see capital goods growth, what is the reason? Because government is spending lot of money in the infrastructural development. Okay, जो अपना former RBI governor and chairperson of the chief economic advisory जी थिले, chief economic advisor to finance minister, Mr. Raghuram Rajan, he also says the kind of growth we are evidencing or we are seeing in case of India, which is almost around 6.5 or 7%, is due to the continuous government expenditure in the infrastructure sector, और खास करके जोटा हमें कुछ capex और capital expenditure. Okay, so other sectors are performing almost kind of decent, माने बहुत exciting growth नु है, but due to this higher amount of public expenditure, that means let's say railway, port, for example road, expressways, highways, etc. So slightly हमें better growth rate देखिବାକୁ हमको मिलुଛି. Okay, so what is this IIP prelims facts? If you see, index of industrial production is a monthly indicator that measures the volume of production in industrial sector. Volume of production in industrial sector simply means it measures the performance of industries. Okay, it shows how industrial sector is performing, which includes manufacturing, mining and electricity. Manufacturing, mining and electricity. Okay, so these are the what you call three components in the index of industrial production. Okay, published by National Statistical Office of Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Base year currently 11-12 vachi. It will be revised very soon because government has given the clearance ki we will soon revising all those indicators base year. It could be CPI, WPI, national income, etc., etc. So we'll see that as well in future. And if you see the in terms of weightage, manufacturing sector is having the weightage of 77.6%. Manufacturing sector ke to weightage achi 77.6%. If you see the mining, the weightage is 14.4%. If you see the electricity, it is the 8.0%. Okay, these are the three sectors. Manufacturing is the highest, mining is the 14.4 and electricity is the 8. Why is IIP important? One thing, our first thing is industrial performance. We can know, or we will be able to know the industrial performance. Second, RBI and Finance Ministry in tracking industrial cycles, taking monetary and fiscal policy decisions. Okay, so RBI and other finance ministers, as per the industrial performance, they also prepare their own policy. Finance minister prepares the fiscal policy, RBI prepares the monetary policy as well. And also it helps us to measure the what you call the GBA, or जोटा के मैं कहूँचे supply side GDP. Okay, so it gives us that clarity ki how much industry is contributing in terms of GDP. GDP रे industrial sector कितने contribute करूँचे, right? So these are the few significance of this IIP. That is the reason it is important. Next देखिए, anti-defection law. Anti-defection law pivotal, helped safeguard democracy in Himachal Pradesh. Suku. Context देखिए, let's see. Chief Minister Sukhwinder Singh Suku addressing the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association conference in Dharmasala stated that the anti-defection law was critical to maintaining democratic integrity in Himachal Pradesh. Okay, democratic integrity in Himachal Pradesh. He observed that an attempt was to made topple an elected government for the first time in the state's history, but due to prompt action under the Article 191, the Speaker disqualified MLAs who defied party directives, thereby upholding democratic norms. So this was the situation. It was an attempt to topple the government and it was saved by using this anti-defection law. Now question is, what exactly the meaning of this anti-defection law, and we will discuss further. Okay, so anti-defection law has been mentioned in the Indian Constitution under 10th schedule, right? The law empowers Speaker to disqualify defecting legislator. It empowers the Speaker, or power has been given to the Speaker. Parliament ho, kimba State Assembly ho, the power or the authority lies with the Speaker to disqualify defecting legislators. Defecting means not going with the party line. Simple, if you understand very in a simple language, defecting means not going with the party language. That is the defection. Thereby acting as a deterrent against horse trading and opportunistic shift. Horse trading and opportunistic shift in the sense, suppose party A, suppose majority is required, let's say 72. Okay, party A has for example 65 members. Okay, rest members jo ochandi party B can form the majority. Okay, so this party A purchased some of the MLAs or MPs, let's say, purchase by giving money and all. So that is the reason it's saying horse trading. Okay, so horse trading and opportunistic shift. So if they try to support kahaku the other party, then their membership will be disqualified. Kahingi? Because they have been elected on this party line, or they have been elected by using this party symbol, right? Apna पद्म इलेक्ट ही आसिक हाथ को सपोर्ट करि परिबनी कि हाथ रे इलेक्ट ही आसिक पद्म को सपोर्ट करि परिबनी. दिस इज व्हाट डिफेक्शन इज ऑल अबाउट. ओके, democracy strengthening tool. How? Suku highlighted that defection had threatened the mandate of the people, because यदि A party majority जीती जी, B party, obviously that symbol or that party has been given the majority by the people itself. That means if 8-10 ML ko pai, if the other party is able to form the government, then it's something like disrespect to the people's mandate, right? And the timely use of the law preserved the sanctity of the electoral process. So this could be a check and balance, you can say. ये check and balance type ra hi काम करि परियो. Okay, the state had also amended pension laws. एबे देखिए आपनो जो complementary measures, यानी कि if any such MLAs would try to defect, जदि ସେମାନେ anti party line रे जिबा को चाहुचंदी, तो समान को ऊपर किसी control area measure निया जाइछि. कोन measures देखंतु apart from this 10th schedule. The first होछि, the state had also amended pension laws to deprive disqualified MLAs of pension benefits. That means if those MLAs are disqualified, they will not be given any kind of pension facilities to their family or to that person. So this is additional measures apart from the constitutional obligation. So the questions are say कि how to prevent such kind of horse trading or this unconstitutional kind of activity जे सब जिनसो. So you can simply write कि first one is the 10th schedule which has been or mentioned or included in the constitution to have a checks and balances, and other than this could be another measure. Although not mentioned in the same speech, these actions reinforces the legal and administrative framework against the defection. Particularly Himachal Pradesh ra jinsata kouchi ki legal and administrative framework against the defection. तो किछि अलगा legislative rules भी समाने नहीं की आसी पारंती. Okay, fine. Anti-defection law slightly हमें देखिबा detail रे, कारण ये तो थिला से state रो किछि news, but यार background जदि देखिबा जोटे काम ପାଇଁ काफी important. Background होछि first, it's mentioned in the 10th schedule of Indian Constitution, popularly known as the Anti-defection law. It was not in the original constitution. It was inserted by 52nd during the Rajiv Gandhi time, 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1985. Okay, 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act during the 1985, during the Rajiv Gandhi era. Came into force 1st March 1985, amended by further 91st Constitutional Amendment Act 2003. Okay, objective: to curb political defection by legislators motivated by luring office of other gains. दीटा ministry दे दवा, तीनटा ministry दे दवा, कि deputy CM दे दवा. So by luring this kind of offer, they simply attract those legislative members, thereby upholding the stability and integrity of the legislature. Okay. Who decides on disqualification? Obviously, as I have already mentioned, presiding officer of the house, speaker or chairperson ही पर. Subject to judicial review. Yes, subject to judicial review. यदि speaker disqualify करूँगी, that decision would be subject to judicial review under the Quixote Holano B Quixote Holano, famously known as Quixote Holano Holohan quasi Quixote Holohan case of or judgment of Supreme Court. So এটা को मन रखिबे, Quixote Holohan is related to what? Judicial review on the decision of the presiding officer, that is the speaker or chairperson of the house, on the disqualification. Because he or she has been given this authority to disqualify those defecting members. Grounds of disqualification, let's say 10 schedule, voluntary giving of membership. That means if a member resigns or acts against party's interest, resigns or act against the party's interest, even without formal resignation, even without formal resignation, it counts as voluntarily giving of membership. Obviously, that person would be disqualified. Okay, this is one part. Example, voting against the party whip. What is this whip? Whip is again not mentioned in the constitution, but whip is something which is in parliamentary procedure. तो whip ର କାମ କ'ଣ? whip ର କାମ ହେଉଛି if there would be any kind of voting, ଯଦି କିଛି major decision voting ଏସବୁ ଜିନିଷ conduct କରିବାର ଅଛି, ତ whip କ'ଣ କହିବ? whip has been given the responsibility that there must not be any kind of is defection kind of activities. यानी कि suppose party A रो जो decision अछि, so every member of party A would support that or vote for that, right? जेमती आपण देखिबे राज्यसभा इलेक्शन जो राज्यसभा आपनकर मेंबर्स मानकर इलेक्शन हुए असेंबली स्टेट असेंबली रे, सो क्रॉस वोटिंग गोटे सुना जाए. क्रॉस वोटिंग इन द सेंस अगेंस्ट द व्हिप्स डिसीजन दे सिंपली वोट द ऑपोजिशंस कैंडिडेट. सो दैट इज द क्रॉस वोटिंग प्रॉब्लम जोटा हमको देखिबा को मिले. सो पार्ट वोटिंग अगेंस्ट द पार्टी व्हिप, voting or abstaining against the party directive, that is the whip, without prior permission leads to disqualification. Okay, यदि prior permission नहीं, obviously disqualification होगा. Voting or abstaining against the party directive. ये second provision. Third देखो तो, if they join any political party after election, independent members यदि election ପରେ join करंदी तो disqualify ହେଇଯିବ. But let me tell you, very safe side functioning of this, independence members माने they do support to a particular political party and those are in government. कारण बहुत समय यदि no confidence motion आसे against the majority party of the government, तेबे independent voters माने बड़े बड़े support करिके तांको जितेई दियंते. Now question is, voting रे support करिवा is something different, party join करिवा is something different. वोटिंग रे सपोर्ट करबा पई इंडिपेंडेंस मेंबर को पई कोनोसी प्रोविजन नाही. दे कैन सपोर्ट, दे कैन एक्सटेंड देयर सपोर्ट. तो सित पई छोटो छोटो पार्टीज गुडी को देखिबे, दे कीप ऑन सपोर्टिंग द मेजॉरिटी पार्टी विदाउट फॉर्मली मर्जर और विदाउट फॉर्मली जॉइनिंग देयर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी. से माने सपोर्ट करि परत. सो जले सपोज कोनोसी मोशन आसला, रिजोल्यूशन आसला, दे कैन एक्सटेंड देयर सपोर्ट. तो ता पई देयर इज नो सच प्रोविजन ऑफ डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन. ओके, plus nominated members देखिए, if they join any political party after 6 months of being nominated, then disqualified. Okay, then disqualified. तो nominated members को पई भी अछि. राज्यसभा रे आपण जानि छै nominated members हमर आसंदी, तो सेमाने जदी after they join, if they join any political party after 6 months of nomination, okay, then disqualified. Exception is there, जोटा कि 91st Amendment Act include karagala. If 2/3 members of a legislative party merge with another party, it is not defection. Okay, 2/3 member. Suppose party A रो 2/3 सदस्य जाई कि मिसी गले कोथरे B रे, तबे there is a kind of a merger, but इटाकू they are not subject to disqualification. क्लियर. तेणु ये केस गोटे एक्सेप्शन रही जोटा कि बहुत समय यूज भी करा जाउछि. ओके, यूज करा जाउछि तक. ठीक अछि, ये थिला आपनकर एंटी डिफेक्शन रो. नेक्स्ट सेवा में मुल्लापेरियर डैम. तमिलनाडु गवर्नमेंट कंटिन्यूज टू रिलीज वाटर फ्रॉम मुल्लापेरियर डैम. देखिबा, following heavy rainfall, the reservoir level reached 136 feet, the rule curve level, prompting Tamil Nadu to open 13 spillway shutter at around 10 to 11:35 am, releasing of 1000 cusecs into Periyar River on June 29, 30, 2025. तेणु तमिलनाडु तरफ ड्यू टू हेवी रेनफॉल से वाटर को रिलीज करा जाइथिला. दिस इज द कॉन्टेक्स्ट. दिस एक्शन वाज प्रिसीडेड बाय येलो और ऑरेंज alert in Idukki and 5 Kerala district with 20 relief camps prepped for evacuation. So, जेहेतु Kerala district gudiko, they are in the low-lying areas, so there could be a possibility of flood after release of this water. Okay, so on this context, Mullaperiyar Dam is in news. So let's see. Water release context. The dam is jointly used for irrigation and drinking purposes. Tamil Nadu announced 300 cubic for 120 days, benefiting regions like Theni. Okay, irrigation and drinking purposes. Plus, although intended for the agriculture support downstream, the release impacts Kerala's Periyar Idukki water system, requiring interstate coordination. तेणु ऊपर मुंडरे यानी कि upper areas रे जेतु से dam टाको कर दी चंदी तेणु whenever there is a surplus water they are releasing, so it's coming to the some districts of the Kerala जोटा कि low lying areas, so it's creating what kind of flood situation जोथि पाएंगे से कोहा जाउची. Although it is for the agricultural support downstream, but it is impacting Kerala's this Periyar Idukki water system. It needs interstate coordination. Okay, तमाने चाहिए यदि lean season ने देखिए, summer season ने देखिए, if they do not release water, then there would be drought-like condition in the low-lying areas in the Kerala. And during the surplus, since they are releasing water, so flood-like condition in the Kerala. So in both the cases, there could be a possibility of lose for Kerala. Issues and implications देखिए. First, the interstate tension. And recent past, we have seen multiple such interstate river water dispute, right? ये भी सही type रहोगे. Mullaperiyar dispute highlights long-standing Kerala-Tamil Nadu tension over the dam control, safety and water distribution rights. They have also same problem with respect to the Mullaperiyar dam. Technically managed by Tamil Nadu under the 886 lease, but physically located in the Kerala, raising governance and compliance disputes. Kerala re achi, but the control lies with the Tamil Nadu. This is what is happening. Okay, disaster management with respect to flood. Advance warning, evacuation preparedness, systematic release scheduling to mitigate the downstream risk or risk of flood. जोटा कि केरला रे हमको देखिबा को मिलुछि. ओके, जोटा कि हमको केरला रे देखिबा को मिलुछि. Governance and policy देखो highlights the need for effective center mediated coordination. Center mediated coordination, yani center would be the mediator between these two. Similar kind of situation we have seen for other states as well. Example Chhattisgarh ଆଉ Odisha ଭିତରେ ଆପଣଙ୍କର Mahanadi. As both states depend on dam water for agriculture, power or energy and drinking purposes. It reflects importance of interstate river basin management, adherence to Supreme Court directives like supervision committees and safety audit. So Supreme Court has given this judgment कि wherever there is a interstate water kind of dam is so regular supervision, regular monitoring of safety mechanism is required so that no state would be negatively affected or affected adversely by such water dam and water reserve. Okay, fine. Moving to the next next topic huchi VIP culture. This is related to GS4, slightly ethics related good topic, so I thought let's include this in discussion. VIP culture, sheer negligence. India's shameful VIP culture has no place in public events. खास करके जो पूरी रथ यात्रा रे जो किसी लोगों को जो किसी casualties ही जी due to stampede and hundreds of people they have been hospitalized and few people they have lost their kin as well. So with respect to that, let's discuss the VIP culture. Root problem of the VIP culture. India's BIP or VVIP culture grants special privileges and precedence to politicians, bureaucrats and elites, often at the expense of the ordinary citizens. Recently, we have seen the RCB case as well. RCB case we have seen, okay, leading to distorted public priorities during large gatherings, misallocation of security and civic resources, because due to presence of these people, securities and civic resources are allocated for their security and safety. Okay, perception of elitism that undermines democratic values. Okay, तो ये problem create करूची due to VIP culture. First, distorted public priorities. I mean, we are not giving any priorities to the public. Resources and civic resources and security, जो security personnels माने होचन, they have been allocated for their safety, and perception of elitism, okay, undermining the democratic values. Still we have that babu culture, still we have that जोटा थिला कि किंगशिप जो जिनसटा थिला से जिनस आज भी प्रिवेल करूची इन आवर सोसाइटी. रियल वर्ल्ड कन्सिक्वेंसेस देखियो. फर्स्ट एक तो अपन देखंतु फेस्टिवल स्टैम्पेड्स, प्रायोरिटीज वीआईपी रूट्स ड्यूरिंग महाकुंभ हो किंबा आपनकर पुष्करम कंट्रीब्यूट टू डेडली क्राउड सर्जेस. ओके, आपनकर महाकुंभ रे भी हमें देखिछे स्टैम्पेड को कंट्रोल करा जाई पारला नाही. तो दिस इज वन एस्पेक्ट. फेस्टिवल रिलेटेड रे भी वीआईपीस को काफी प्रायोरिटीज दिया जाउची. Computational analysis of the 2025 Kumbh revealed that VIP route management diverted critical safety resources and worsening panic. So Kumbh ru ଗୋଟେ case studies हमको जोटा कहूची कि during the Kumbh VIP route management को नेकी जो safety resources को ताको compromise करा जायतिला, safety resources को divert करा जायतिला फଳରେ panic, worsening the panic kind of situation. Sen देखंतु event disruption, जेमति शिलोंग रे concert goers board BVIP convoys that disrupted general traffic and safety. Karnataka IPL जो RCB celebration led to police scapegoating despite lacking support for the crowd control. Okay, police को finally अपन देखते हुए कमिश्नर को ट्रांसफर करा गला, सस्पेंड करा गला, despite सेमन का पखरे lack of resources for the crowd management and crowd control. Same देखो impaired services, hospital, roads, public offices prioritize VIPs over common citizen, leading to delays and inequity. So suppose अपन hospital wait करते हो, if any VIP would come, so obviously he or she would be given the priorities, provided you have been waiting for since long. Okay, Supreme Court has noted misuse of beacon lights, जोटा red light हमरो नाली बत्ती जोटा में कूचे, and unwarranted security details. Supreme Court has noted it, but still misused have been there. Why it matters or significance? It violates equality. Obviously, equality, because every citizen is equal in this democratic setup. Classes with democratic ethos and Article 14, equality before law. Why, if certain section would be given the priority over others? Wastage of resources, divert police, ambulances, civic services to unmerited VIP needs. Yeah, unmerited VIP needs in the sense minister family, minister relative, keens, friends, everyone have been given the special preference and special treatment. Okay, endangers life, heightens risk during the public events through flood crowd management. Endangered lives, obviously stampeder death huji, we have seen, we have lost many lives due to mismanagement of the crowd. Erodes trust, fuels public resentment and disconnect from the institution. Absolutely correct. Okay, जो public trust रहिबा कथा system ऊपरे, so the system is itself eroding the public trust. Okay, solution and policy options देखी परिबा, uniform SOP, standard of जोटा operation जोटा अपन करो ची SOP, clearly defined protocols that prevent disruption from the VIP movements, limit escorts, rationalize security based on credible threat assessment, accountability mechanism, transparency in resource use and civil redressal system. Every resources would be monitored properly. Why a particular person would be given special priorities, preference and security and safety measures. Public awareness, encourage citizens to challenge VIP first arrangement. So obviously public जदि voice raise करिबो start करिबो, obviously things could be handled in many sense. Okay. So ये थिला आपनकर VIP culture को नेकी, जदि VIP culture ऊपर किछि question आसे, so you can go for this. ठीक अछि. So basically this is a part of GS4 ethics. Next is ECI, Election Commission of India. Bihar election है so roll crunch. The ECI's rushed intensive electoral revision in Bihar risk voter exclusion. देखियो. What is SIR exercise in Bihar? The Election Commission of India initiated a Spatial Intensive Revision, SIR, Spatial Intensive Revision of Bihar's electoral rolls ahead of upcoming assembly elections. Spatial Intensive Revision. In this spatial intensive revision, verifying the identity, age, citizenship, okay, birth certificates, parental proof, Aadhaar, passports, etc. Because the opposition party has claimed, or opposition party is demanding, that is the manipulation with the electoral roll, okay, or the voting list. So that is the reason they are simply proving the authenticity or authentication of those voter list through this SIR exercise. Election Commission is an autonomous constitutional authority responsible for administering elections in India. Kahara election करे से national, that is the parliament, state, legislative assembly, and obviously not local level. ये local level रे लोकल लेवल जदि आपण पंचायत राज इंस्टीट्यूशंस देखिए, ये पंचायत राज इंस्टीट्यूशन को करे स्टेट इलेक्शन कमीशन, मन रखते बेटा को स्टेट इलेक्शन कमीशन. ये नेशनल करे, स्टेट करे, प्लस प्रेसिडेंट एंड वाइस प्रेसिडेंट, एतिकी जिनस ही करे कि इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया. इफ यू सी द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बैकिंग 324 of the Constitution of India, and it's the duty of the election commission to conduct free, fair and credible election. Chief Election Commissioner, head of the commission, election commissioners up to 2 additional commissioners, tenure 6 years or until the 65 years, whichever is earlier. Okay. Main function देखिए, first, conduct of election, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, state legislative assemblies and council, president, vice president, that's it. Local level या PRIs, state election commission conduct करेगा. Preparation of electoral rolls, regular revision and updating, the work which is being done in Bihar. ये गोटे special drive like spatial intensive revision, rectifying or authenticity or proving the authenticity of the electoral rolls or the voting list, what we call. Recognize political parties in the sense, so political parties they pratham to registered karibe. Obviously, if you want to set up a political party, you have to register with the Election Commission of India. So then it will be considered as the recognized. First it would be registered. I want to register kale, and then would be recognized. Recognized is a recognition of political party, or recognition requires certain conditions. Conditions in the sense, conditions are different with respect to state political party and central political party or union level re jota political party samaguje. So they have different criteria as well. Tenu semankoro criteria anusare semanku recognize karajibo whether state party or central party. Alert symbols as well, symbol provide karibo. Model code of conduct and enforcement during the election. Few days before the election, model code of conduct को implement करा जाए. Okay, model code of conduct रा main purpose होची when those political party in government, they can launch or any such implements a scheme, new scheme in fact, to lure the voters. से जिनसे को उटे neutrality and level playing field maintain करिवा पाए. Monitor election expenses as well. I mean, as per the law, RPA Act जो अपन करो ची, Representation of People's Act 1951, election expenses have been fixed. यानी कि MP election expenses has been fixed. अपन अगर MLA पाई भी election expenses have been fixed. तो ताकू से monitor करिवा. Resolve disputes related to elections and party recognition. If any such disputes would be there, then election commission will deal with that. Okay. Okay. Powers of ECI देखिए, quasi judicial power during election. What is the use of this quasi judicial power? If someone violates this model code of conduct, can take any such action. Can cancel or postpone polls. Power to requisition staff and enforce model code of conduct. Enforce kari. Advisory role in disqualification of MPs and MLAs under the 10th schedule, that is under the anti-defection law. If any such advice would be sought for the election commission or of the election commission, then they can advise on that matter as well. Okay. Recent issue and debate jodi apan dekhibe. First, autonomy and transparency. Election Commission have been criticized severely in recent days. Okay. Demands for a transparent appointment mechanism. And a appointment mechanism, there are 3 members actually in that appointment committee. One is the obviously the Prime Minister and any such cabinet minister nominated by the Prime Minister and leader of opposition. LOP जोटा में कहूँ. So Prime Minister है गले वर्तमान CM जो sorry cabinet minister जी अच्छी cabinet minister भावरे nominate ही चंदे अपन करो Home Minister अमित शाह जी. तो third है गले राहुल गांधी. So there are 3 members जो बने के nominate करूँ चंदे. So it has been strongly kind of raised this voice or strongly criticized. If 2 people are majority from the government, then obviously they would nominate their member. So what is the need of this third person? Okay. Earlier it was जदि अपन Supreme Court रे judgment रे देखिबे, Supreme Court judgment कौन कहला कि Prime Minister, LOP and CJI would be part of that member. But through the amendment एमाने ताको change कर देला, CJI को हटेगी, बटे cabinet minister को include कर देला. Okay, जोटा कि it's a concern for all of us or everyone actually raising this voice on the neutrality of the election commission. Allegations of bias during the state and general election, voter exclusion fear during the recent roll revisions like Bihar in 2025, voter exclusion fear. यानी कि वर्तमान जो चाली ची मेन voter exclusion fear in the sense जो माने actually voters माने उसे से मानकर लिस्टो ना हटी जाऊँ. So voter exclusion fear. Due to that also ECI has been in question. Regulating social media and digital campaigning. तो ये किसी जिनसो अपन करो recent debate रे होची. Next देखिए GST. A GST turns 8. Tax experts call for fuel inclusion and fewer rates. देखिए कौन? Time to revisit. Tax expert acknowledge that GST is much simpler now, but it is time for the next phase of reforms in the indirect tax system. Call to expand tax base, rationalize GST rate structure, minimize ITC restriction, and streamline audits. Call to expand tax base means what? Tax base means if you reduce the tax rate, then more people will give the tax, the amount of collection will increase. जोटा का मैं tax base बोली कहूँ. I think you must know जो हमरो अच्छी Laffer curve. Okay, Laffer curve. It says the relation between the tax rate और collection of tax is having a typical curve. तो कौन सा relation देखिबा? से कहला if increase in the tax rate, the tax collection will increase for the government. Okay, but this happens up to a certain limit, but beyond a particular point, increase in the tax rate leads to decrease in the tax collection. Okay, why? Because after a particular point, increase in the tax rate leads to the decrease of tax revenue because people will start evading tax or avoid to pay the tax. कहीं ना गोटे limit पर if there will be a high amount of tax or tax rate is higher, then obviously people will try to manipulate, will try to hide from the government. Okay, this is what actually the Laffer curve says. तो सहित ପାଇଁ से କୁହା ଯାଉଛି ଯଦି ଆମେ expand tax base means first you have to rationalize the GST rate structure, यानी कि rate structure को कम करो. 18% 32% जो नौचे ताको कम करो. Education is a service 18% tax. Okay, minimize ITC restriction जो अपन करो information जो communication अच्छी IT तार restriction and streamline the audit. Essential for government to address procedural challenges and high value litigations on minor issues. Okay, तो ये जो minor issues गुड़ी को अच्छी essential for government to address procedure challenges. So initial challenges, procedure challenges and high value litigation रे, so इटा को government through रे ताको address करिवा पई, redress करिवा पई मध्य कुआ जाउछि. The third one is in the absence of appellate tribunal, there is opportunity to revisit the dispute resolution mechanism. That means if there would be no such tribunal authority, then what would be that authority to resolve that issue? Okay. GST marked a transformative shift in India's indirect tax system, multiple of central and state tax. Now, 8 years later, tax experts, industry bodies, and policymakers are urging critical reforms. Okay. So, first, देखो current status कौन होची fuel like petrol, diesel, ATF इगुड़ी का बर्तन currently outside the GST ambit. Okay. तेणु कुआ जाउची कि भाई इगुड़ी को मध्य tax under को आना जो so that it will have uniformity in the tax rate. Legal provision देखो 279A with the amendment of this we have included the GST Council, who is the supreme authority to recommend with respect to the GST. Why experts are recommending the now eliminates cascading taxes. Cascading taxes in the sense, जो petrol रे आपण देखिबे multiple tax says ये सब जो impose करा जाउची, multiple tax says etc. and the rate varies from state to minimize that. Input tax credit in the sense one-time tax. Okay, and price transparency and state-wise distortion, inflationary pressure को भी control करा जाई परियो. Challenges कौन देखंदु? नहीं liquor नहीं, liquor, fuel ये सब जिनस किछि नहीं. Liquor तो नहीं, completely नहीं. Okay, liquor एबे भी सही VAT challenge, the VAT. States fear massive revenue loss from VAT and petroleum. So that is the reason states are not ready to accept कि petrol and petroleum products should be included under the GST because they are saying it's a major source of revenue for the state government. Okay, and then political sensitivities around fuel pricing कि election time रे तेल पैसा कमी जाए पुनी बढ़ी जाए सेट sensitivities. GST Council requires concession for both the center and state. Without that, they can't accept or they can't implement. Rationalization देखिए 4 main slab 5, 12, 18, 28. Sometimes 0% and special cases as well. Special cesses sorry. जेमती vehicle रे जदे आपण देखिए vehicle गुडे रे on the basis of machine size of the machine they simply imposes cess. Complexity and classification dispute, this is one aspect. Ease of doing business को hamper करूची multiple rates, we must have a single rate system. Inverted duty structure, that is lower tax on inputs than output. Okay, suggestion 2 rate structure, we have to rationalize that, reduce this 20% slab and inverted duty structure like textile, fertilizer, electronics, etc. Okay, financial stability report देखिए RBI रे उठे आस्थिला June 2025 से कूची that India is the key driver with respect to the global engine growth, as India is growing something around 6.5 to 7.5 percentage ଭିତରେ से grow କରୁଛି. Okay, so that will help to grow the whole world as well, or would be that driver for the global growth engine आपण कहि परिबे because of the macroeconomic stability with respect to India's economy. Okay, inflation rate stable achi. We have cut down or RBI has cut down that base rate as well. तो सही पाई से हमरो कौन करि पारे improve करि पारे total growth. आउ कोन देखंतु non performing asset has been declined or कमिची. Capital adequacy ratio, that means the capital buffer which shows the health of the banking system, that also has been improved. Okay. NBFC's insurance, strong capital buffer as well to support the growth rate as well, and confirms that bank and mutual fund corporations can withstand adverse market scenarios, that is the stress test results. Downside risk and caution, public debt गोटे ही पारे, household debt बढ़ीची जोटा की kind of a challenge for this. Policy outlook, monetary easing 50% basis आमे देखी चे कमी थिला, So this would accelerate further growth because money supply has been increased in the economy. So investors will be motivated and they can pump more or they can invest more in the economy. So there is a possibility to grow more than the current rate jota amar achi 6.5 to 7%. Okay. Cooperative policy jota achi cooperative policy kon kouchi dekhondu. Manthan Bethak re Amit Shah has emphasized that there must be a cooperative policy by every state. Okay. Jemti national cooperative policy achi 25 to 45. So every state must have a cooperative policy. Right? Cooperative society per village, 2 lakh primary agricultural credit societies by February 2026. Cooperative framework by 31st January will align with the local strategies with the national vision. Significance dekhandu, federal action between the state and center, grassroots empowerment, PHCs which will provide the credit facilities to the farmers, SSGs, rural entrepreneurs, etc. Okay. So in the ease of doing business, clear bylaws, computerization, integration or kind of digitalization you can say, employment bhi badibo, rural resilience. So basically government wants, jemti Anand jota apankar achi, Amul jota ki gote cooperative society, the similar kind of model we can start in every sector, particularly the rural sector. Odisha dekhibe senior IAS officer Saswat Mishra appointed as the principal secretary to Odisha CM. Currently holds the post of Principal Secretary Finance Department Chairman EDCO. So he will be Principal Secretary to CM. Okay, appoint kora jaychi. Sisu Sebika, jemti apra Sisu Batika start heitla. Prati Sisu Batika re gote Sisu Sebika appoint kora jibo. Jo mane ki semane manage karibe kono non-teaching task like hygiene, feeding, toilet breaks, distributing materials to support the teachers. Teacher will focus on the teaching and they will focus on the non-teaching activities. Okay, they are not permitted to teach, discipline, administer medicine to students. MCQs solve karibe Saswat Mishra. He will remain his existing roles in financial department IDCO. CM's principal secretary position was vacant in the retirement of Nikunj Jadhal. His appointment comes as a part of the administration reshuffle after a major incident during the Rath Yatra in Puri. So absolutely correct. All these three statements are correct. Okay. Next dekhandu. Sisu Sevika. Sisu Sevika. They are allowed to administer first aid and medicine. No, not teaching, no medicine, only upon 2 and 3. Okay. Next dekhandu. Outside the ambit of GST. Outside of ambit of GST dekhibe jodi alcohol bhi achi, petrol, electricity, ATF. Charity jaka achi. 1, 2, 3, 4. Election Commission of India, obviously not Gram Panchayat ku chadiki, apankar Lok Sabha, State Legislative Assembly and Rajya Sabha 1, 2, 4 only. A. And these are two mains related question. Okay, fine. One is state level cooperative policy, another one is RBI's financial stability report. Rest, Paripurna batch amrochi plus Aarambh batch. दे आपण जॉइन करबा को चाहउछन जॉइन करि परिबे. ओके, पीडीएफ आपन को एटी मिल जिवो फेसबुक रे इंस्टा रे मते आपण फॉलो करि परिबे. यू कैन आस्क योर डाउट और एनी काइंड ऑफ क्वेरी. ओके.